Good Thursday morning, everyone. Trust everyone's having a good and safe week thus far. It's me, Jason, here with your Thursday morning devotion. Entitled today's In the Fire, coming from Daniel 3, which was just a wonderful message that the Lord sent our way through Brother Jody. Appreciate his obedience and giving us what the Lord gave him. Uh, And so the other guys this week have done a good job. Brother Ron yesterday on kind of giving some background and what's came to this story. I think it's a very familiar story, but um, still amazed how certain things, no matter how many times you've heard the story or whatever, that God still uses it to bring out different points. Um, and so in Daniel 3, up to this point in time, we know Daniel. Uh, and his buddies basically had been taken into slavery at an early age, and kind of were being brainwashed into a new way of life. They refused to eat and partake of the things in which the king wanted them to do. God blessed them. They ended up being in better shape than the others who did take of the king's meat and portion. Um, and so since then, Daniel has risen up, and you know, I guess a lot of jealousy has taken place, and now Nebuchadnezzar is mad because they've created an image, and they refuse to bow down, and so the king is getting ready to throw them into the fiery furnace, and that's where we'll pick up here in verse 18. It says, "But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up." And that should be of no surprise, because that's not the first time uh, or the last time in which Daniel will make this statement. He has been obedient to King Nebuchadnezzar, but he's not bowed down and worshipped the idols. He's remained true to God. As Brother Jody said, that Daniel had set the standard. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed. Okay, his whole countenance changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it want to be heated. So 7 times hotter than what it was even designed to do. Okay, so he's put it to the max. Verse 23, it says, "And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery, fiery furnace." So they had been thrown into the fire. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, "Did we not cast three men bound into the midst of the fire?" They answered and said unto the king, "True, O king." He answered and said, "Lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God." And then in Isaiah 41 and 10, it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." And so the point that I wanted to bring out here was, and Jody did a very good job of bringing this out, and the Lord spoke to me during it, is that number one, um, I don't think that you could argue that these men were in God's will. Daniel had remained, um, true to God and God's commands, and he's seen God move on his behalf several times. So it's not like they were disobedient, but yet here they are in the fire. And I think the same is true with the message that I'd preached there a month or so ago about the storm and the disciples in the boat and being cast to the other side and doing exactly what God had told them to do, and they find themselves in the storm. Well, here Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego have been obedient, doing exactly what God has called them to do, and now they're getting ready to go through the fire. They are bound. Um, so they've been tied up and put into a furnace that had been heated 7 times hotter than normal. Okay. But then in verse 25, he said, "Lo, I see 4 men loose." And I love the way that Brother Jody brought that out. We talked about the smoke, the fire, the heat, and how even those who got close to it um, had died. But these 4 men who was actually in the fire, the only thing that burned off of them was the ropes that had them bound. And I think of that, and so many times in our life that we'll go through things and we'll not understand. Um, we'll kind of shun or kind of shy away and want to live in the comfort all the time. But sometimes we're going to go through storms, and sometimes we're going to go through fire. And the purpose of those is a testing of our faith, testing of, God showing to us sometimes it's to those around us, and sometimes it's for the testimony of those that we come in contact with in the future of the power of God's hand. Because look here, they were bound when they went into the fire, and a fire that was consuming those that even got close to it. The three that was actually in it were joined up by another, the Son of God, in the fire with them. And we take confidence in that, of knowing that God is going to always be with us, even in the fire, in the storms, whatever it may be. And the only thing that's burnt is what was holding them back, what had bound them. And so I like that, how he ended in Isaiah 41:10. It tells us not to be fearful, okay, because God's going to go there with us. He said, "I'll strengthen thee." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel all showed tremendous faith before the fire. But I can't help but think that once they came out of the furnace, I'm sure they was relieved. I'm sure that they were thankful that God once again had spared them as he had before. But, I'm sure they felt more bold than they did before they went in the fire. And a lot of times that's the purpose of the fire and the storms that we'll go through. God bringing out boldness in us, giving us a story to tell of his goodness and showing his power, that no matter what it is that we'll go through, God's there with us in the midst of it all. I hope you find some encouragement in that. I did. Again, so thankful for what God's doing in the church right now. Continue to pray. Pray, be much in prayer for service this Sunday. Brother TJ, I think on Wednesday night, said he would be preaching out of Joshua. So look forward to what God's got in store. Seems like the last 5 or 6 sermons have just been, or services have been, just wonderful, wonderful services, and thankful for God showing up and showing his favor on us. So pray that we'll continue to see souls saved and lives changed. If you haven't been with us, we invite you, come and be with us. We love you guys. Have a great day.